Today we're going to take a look at Nichecom's top 5 suburbs to live in the Boise area, and we'll get a quick market update. What's up everybody, this is Shawn Tomich with the Living in Boise group, and if this is your first time to the channel, then make sure to click the subscribe, give me a like, do all of the things so that you can stay up to date with everything that there is to know about moving to Boise and the Treasure Valley. Thank you to all of you that checked out my last week's video where I was able to finally go out and show you some of my most favorite walkable neighborhoods in the Boise area. Those are just really 5 of the top that stand out to me as a lifelong resident of the Treasure Valley and the Boise area, and as someone that's been working in real estate for the last 20 years. Those are really some areas and some neighborhoods where when I think of, what are some of the best and coolest and nicest neighborhoods in the Treasure Valley, those are really the 5 that really stand out to me right now, that just come to mind. We keep getting hit with colder temperatures currently. We do have snow on the ground, so it's been sticking around. There's nothing on the streets or the roads or anything like that. Usually a day, 2 at the most after a snowstorm, the streets are cleared, the roads are fine, there's no issues driving at all. But we still have some snow lingering around and we still have some colder temperatures, which is keeping us indoors. However, if you're an outdoors person and you're a winter outdoors person, then this is ideal because you're able right now to go out and do all of the snowmobiling, all of the skiing, snowboarding, all of the winter things. What else? Ice skating, that's a thing, people do that. We do have areas where you can do that. Ice fishing, you can do that. I did that once, hungover. I will never ever do that again in my life. It was the most boring thing in the world on the planet, but probably because I was hungover. I don't know. I think that had something to do with it, but it was just not exciting. Anyway, I digress. Back to the outdoor activities that you can do in the winter. And then there's also staying and snuggling up and watching Dexter and just snuggling up and just being cozy. Now heading into February, our temperatures obviously start picking up pretty quickly and we start looking like spring pretty quickly. We do still get snow here and there, and if we do, it's usually gone pretty quickly. It's usually melted off pretty quickly. In fact, there's been times, don't tell anybody this because it's kind of embarrassing, but there's been times where it snowed in February or March, but I knew like the next day it was gonna be 70, and I literally went out and fertilized my yard on top of the layer of snow because I knew it was gonna melt the next day, and just literally fertilize my yard. So, but anyway, it's our spring it's really up and down. We'll get some snow here and there, but really once we hit February, the temperatures start picking up, and that's not the only thing that picks up. Our values and our market really wakes up in February. In fact, February is really one of our strongest months of the year, and it really starts peaking up into March, April, May. April, May is really when I expect that we're gonna see the peak this year. So we're heading right into it right now, and what we're going to actually see right now is that as our prices have been, coming down, that's no surprise. That's the market pretty much all over the rest of the country right now. As it's coming down, once we hit this spring area, you will see it stabilize in a couple of our areas and start heading right back up actually. So for the Boise area for the month of December, Boise area, Ada County actually went down by 5%, which is absolutely no surprise if you're following the market and following the trends. And it's December, it was supposed to go down. It wasn't certainly gonna go up. So there's no surprise there. It went down another 5%. So median home price in Boise right now is hovering around that 515 range. Currently. Nampa and Caldwell went down 7%. That was actually a little bit surprising, but they also have the higher increases. So your increases go up faster, the values are gonna come down faster. So they came down 7%. So median home price in the Nampa Caldwell area right now is only around $390 to get into a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And then the surprising numbers are Emmett and Mountain Home actually went up last month. Mountain Home went up just over 8% to a median home price of only $340 right now. So very affordable in Mountain Home. I often get people in Mountain Home under 300 and sometimes under 200,000. And then in Emmett, that was the other one we were talking about. In Emmett, it actually went up 28% to a median, I'm gonna cheat right now, of around 490 in Emmett. So to be honest, what that tells me is that the inventory is probably pretty darn low in Emmett, and so a couple big sales will really make that number jump quickly. And also, no surprise, inventory is also up across the board pretty much everywhere. And I am gonna cheat and read these numbers because I don't have these memorized, but Boise went up about 151% in inventory in the month of December. The Nampa-Caldwell area was up 86%. Mountain Home was 82%, and Emmett went up 76%. The homes are still sitting longer than what we are used to. We're typically used to a marketing time on the homes that are under median home price of about 30 days or less in our area. But right now, pretty much across the board, it's 60 days. So 60 days before you're gonna get that home pending, before you're gonna get that accepted offer and move on to your next chapter. So what does this all mean? It's all really good news for you. And the reason is because 99% of you watching my channel right now are buyers. And this is absolutely a buyer's market. These are just more indicators of a buyer's market and indicators of, hey, you might wanna get in while you can. Because it's like I've been telling you, the second that the Fed starts saying anything about, hey, rates are gonna start coming down, you will see our market here in the Boise Treasure Valley skyrocket. Just like it historically has throughout the last 5 years, 10 years. Our market flips on a dime, but it flips right back up on a dime quickly. So you'll see it skyrocket. So the best advice I can give you is absolutely, if you're a buyer, get in now while you can. The values are low. We're not competing against 20, 30 other offers when we're making offers on homes. And that is the best news to you, because I assure you the experience is much better when we can go in, we can tour homes, we can be selective of which one is gonna be the perfect home for you and your family, or just you, whatever your situation is. And then we can make an offer and we're not competing against multiple offers. Like I said, that's when you really, it gets stressful. It gets stressful when you send up what you feel is a really good, strong offer on a home, and then you get a call back from me saying, hey, just so you know, they have 15 other offers, 3 of them are cash, they're all better than yours, so we've got to come up. That's no fun at all. We still do it, we still make it happen, but I'm telling you right now, for a buyer, this is the time to get in. Okay, so let's get on with our list. Let's see if Niche.com's any better than Redfin's walkable list, because like I told you, it wasn't that it wasn't walkable, but it was certainly just a report put together by numbers, and they weren't the nice neighborhoods that we have. So honestly, in reviewing the list, I was actually pretty impressed with the list, and I thought it was very spot on. In fact, 4 and 5 really surprised me. It's not necessarily that those cities surprised me that they came in 4th and 5th, but what surprised me is the cities that they beat out to be 4th and 5th. So let's take a look at the list. So number 1 on our list, and we're gonna start with number 1 and move backwards for no other reason than because everybody usually starts from 5 and works up. So number 1 on our list is Meridian. And like I said, that is absolutely no surprise whatsoever. According to Niche.com, Meridian gets an A- on the grade. Public schools gets a B+, crime and safety gets a B-, housing gets a B-, nightlife gets an A-. Okay, that would have to be in comparison to every other city because there's not much nightlife in Meridian, but there's a little bit of nightlife in Meridian, but we'll go with it. Good for families is a B+, and diversity is a B, and we'll cover that in a second because it's not really a B, to be honest. So Meridian is a suburb of Boise. Population's about 115,000. Meridian is in Ada County, and it's one of the best places to live in Idaho. Living in Meridian offers residents a sparse suburban feel. Most residents own their own homes. In Meridian, there's lots of bars, coffee shops, parks. Many families and young professionals live in Meridian, and residents tend to lean conservative. I would agree with most everything there that was said by Niche.com. The public schools in Meridian are above average. Median home price, Niche.com says that it's $349,400. It's not. It's more like $530 right now, so their numbers are usually a little bit behind. So again, that's why you've got to really be careful and You know, the internet's great. The internet is full of information, but that's exactly what it is. It's information. That doesn't necessarily mean it's correct. So median home price around $530 right now. Average rent, Niche.com says $13.18 a month, but really it's closer to $17.50 is about the average. 77% of residents in Meridian are owners versus 23% that are renters. Crime. On crime, there were two numbers that stood out to me that I did want to actually talk about. So these numbers are calculated annually per every 100,000 residents. So based on 100,000 residents nationally, there were an average of 6.1 murders annually, and in Meridian, the average is 0. And motor vehicle theft, nationally, the average is 284. Meridian, it was 48. So yes, Meridian, Boise, pretty much all of these areas that we talk about. When you call me, I literally do tell you that this is Mayberry compared to really anywhere you're coming from. If you're coming from anywhere in California, anywhere in the Seattle area, the Portland area, any of these states that's the majority of where we're getting the influx from right now, this is gonna be an area that is night and day compared to what you're in right now. I get a call from this gentleman that reaches out to me every so often. I won't say his name, and he keeps talking about the crime in his area, the crime, how horrible it is, how atrocious it is. And then he'll read me a stat and he'll say, now I read that, you know, Nampa's crime is really a lot higher than Meridian's. Does that mean that Nampa's, you know, this really bad place to live in? And I'm like, dude, no, like it's not high by any means. It's high compared to our standards of high, but not the standards across the country. Anyway, those are the numbers that stood out to me. The other thing that did stand out to me is diversity. And we'll probably pretty much cover this on every city that we cover because this is also kind of a farce, or not really what I would consider true. It depends on what you consider diversity, I guess, but it says that Meridian gets a B for diversity. Meridian is 84% white, 9% Hispanic. It's very white. On the education levels, on every education level that there was, as far as some college degrees and master's degrees, Meridian scored higher than the national average. So you have higher educated, 84% white area in Meridian. That's what it is. So it doesn't really feel too diverse to me, if you ask me, but that's what Niche.com has to say. The reasons to love Meridian, they're countless. You pull up the lists online and they just keep going, and it's just safety, family, schools, religion, shopping, cleanliness. It just doesn't stop. And anytime someone calls me and says, hey Shawn, listen, I'm making the move to Boise, I'm looking for this price range, and the most important thing to me is I'm bringing my family over and I need a place that's good for raising families. The number one place we start shopping is Meridian. So number 2 is Eagle, and I don't disagree with number 2 being Eagle. So let's see what Niche.com has to say about Eagle. Eagle is a suburb of Boise with a population of about 29,000, probably over 29,000 right now. It's probably a little bit over 30 right now. I think last time I checked was 31,000 or so. Eagle is in Ada County. Living in Eagle offers residents a sparse suburban feel, and most residents own their own homes. In Eagle, there's a lot of parks. Many families live in Eagle, and residents tend to lean conservative. Of course, that's true. The public schools in Eagle are above average. Median home value, according to Niche.com, says $488,000. You ever notice on the weather, like when you look at your weather app and it says, hey, it's 50 degrees right now, but really it feels like it's 40 degrees? Well, Niche.com says that the value is $488,000, but really it feels more like $800,000. So the values in Eagle, if you've followed my channel or if you know anything about Eagle, Eagle is our finer living area. It's our highest valued area. Values are usually right now, they're around 800,000 to 900,000 is about the average of what you'll actually get into. Niche.com also said that rent is only $1,510 in Meridian, and really again, feels more like $1,900 to rent something nice in Eagle. You could rent something pretty crappy in Eagle for under that, for about that $1,500 to $1,200 range, but it wouldn't really probably be too nice. And what's interesting is it doesn't list any crime stats for Eagle, so that was weird, but you know, again, it's a website, there's not too much you know, you can only put so much stock into what it tells you, right? Again, it gives Eagle a very high diversity score of B, but really it's 86% higher educated white people. So really not that diverse if you ask me. Median household income is around 100,000. That's not surprising. It's probably a little bit more than that, to be honest with you. And this is where you're going to go to find the gated communities, your $1 million homes, $1 million communities, homes that are have the river in your backyard. Just everything is fully amenity packed. And really the draw of Eagle is just really the three biggest and most important things that it comes to when it comes to valuing real estate, which is location, location, location. And Eagle has it. It's centrally located. The river, the Boise River comes right through Eagle, splits through Eagle, and it just creates the most beautiful scenic area that you could really find in the city in our area. So number 3 is Garden City, and I absolutely wanted to cover this on my channel because this is where the report gets busted. And this is where you can tell it's a generated report from the internet or from data. Because Garden City, if you're a resident here, or if you're from here, or if you know anything about our area, Garden City is this little tiny extension of Eagle. In fact, if you talk to anybody that lives in Garden City, they're going to tell you that they live in Eagle because they don't want to be associated with Garden City. In fact, growing up, to be honest with you, we called it Garbage City because it really all Garden City is it's this little extension of Eagle, and it picks up this little seedy part of Boise that's really probably just mostly vape stores and tattoo shops. So the numbers on Garden City are completely off, way off. In fact, that's why I'm gonna cover it. I'm gonna mention Garden City, but that's really it, because it exists, it's a place, but really it's either Eagle or it's Boise. So Garden City is there, people live there, but to call it its own city, you can't really do that. At least I don't want to do that. And so like I said, because of this, the numbers are all completely off. In fact, it says that the national average for assaults is 282 per year, and then in Garden City, it's 699. And then if you remember, the national average of murders was 6.1, and in Garden City, it's 8.3. So like I said, because of the data plugging in there, and it's picking up like this little area of Boise, not really all of Eagle, some of Eagle, the data's off. Sorry. So number 4 is Middleton. And this is where, like I said, I actually got surprised. And it's not that I got surprised that Middleton was number 4, but I'm surprised at how many cities that Middleton beat out to be number 4 on this list. So that tells you that Middleton is a highly sought after area in our market. And that really doesn't surprise me because of how much I love Middleton. Let's see what Nichecom has to say about Middleton. So it says Middleton is a suburb of Boise with a population of around 9,000. Today it's closer to 10 to 12,000. Middleton is in Canyon County as well as Nampa and Caldwell. Living in Middleton offers residents a rural feel. I agree with that 100%. And most residents own their homes. Many families live in Middleton, and residents tend to be and lean conservatives. Very conservative in Middleton. Public schools in Middleton are above average. When I first read the stats on Middleton, I actually had to laugh because everything on Middleton was really high except for nightlife. And that's where I had to laugh, because if you know Middleton or if you've driven through Middleton, you'll determine and discover really quickly that Middleton is very small. There is no nightlife. There's probably a bar. If I do a Google search, I'm sure I'll find a bar in Meridian. But if you're going clubbing or if you're wanting to have a good night out on the town, Middleton is not the place to go. No one in the Treasure Valley would ever say, hey, let's go to that bar in Middleton. Everybody's going to Boise. If you don't want to go all the way to Boise from Middleton, you might go to Caldwell or Nampa for some nightlife, for some night entertainment, for some bars, for some dancing, for some country clubs, because country's pretty big here, duh. But that's what, as far as nightlife is concerned, it's non-existent in Middleton. All of these areas are small areas, but that's why people live there, because that's what they love. They love that small hometown feel. In Star, if you live in Star, you literally go to the Star Mercantile to shop for groceries. Like I said, these are small areas. But in Middleton, they're really, like I said, there is no nightlife unless you have Tinder maybe. Okay, so back to Middleton. The median home price is, according to Nichecom's, $257, feels more like 400s right now. It says rent is $885, it's more like $1,400 to be honest with you. Diversity score is a B, same thing with the aforementioned cities. Really, it's 76% white, 17% Hispanic, and 5% two or more races. So a little further out, it does become a little bit more diverse. Education is below the national average, except for the some college area, which was 41% over the national average, which was 29%. So the some college area scored much higher in Middleton. Middleton's all about that country living, that outdoor living, that small town vibe, country feel. You're surrounded by cornfields, views, mountains, and cows. That's Middleton. Number 5 was Star. And again, it wasn't a surprise to me that Star is number 5. It's just a surprise of the bigger cities that Star beat out to be number 5 on this list, which again, makes Star very highly desirable in our area. And to be honest with you, that's true. I just actually helped a family own a home in Star just 2-3 months ago maybe, and they love it. I literally just touched base with them last week, and Tim was telling me how much they love living in Star. So when I talk about Star, I really do consider Star an extension of Eagle because they really are connected. Eagle's here, Star is connected right to Eagle. They're extremely similar in feel, in demographics, in geography, in everything really. The only difference is that Star is heading west out of town toward Nampa and Caldwell from Eagle. So it's not heading toward Boise like Eagle is, we're heading out toward Nampa Caldwell. So our values and our properties start to decline a little bit as we're heading out of town. So with the great thing about that is that with Star, you get the same exact views, you get the Boise River running directly through the middle of Star, you get all of those wonderful amenities that you would get in Eagle, but you're paying about half to own a home in Star. But you really don't have the gated communities, the multi-million dollar homes in Star that you do in Eagle. They're still in Star, you'll still find those nice communities, there's just not as many of them. So Star was one of the up and coming communities in our area for a long time in the rural areas, just like Kuna is. So because of that, you're going to find a lot of starter home communities in Star. However, the majority of construction over the course of the last 5 years is going to be much more similar to Eagle. Rent is around $1,400 a month in Star. I didn't even read Niche.com's number because it's not even right. Median home price is right around that $500,000 range right now, so right around $500,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It actually says it's 91% white, which I wasn't actually expecting that either. Median household income's around $75,000 a year. But for me, what I love about Star are the views and the scenery. And I actually love the views of the Boise River in Star better than I do in Eagle, which for me, if I were to choose between Eagle and Star, well, I'd personally choose Star because I really don't need a gated community and all the fanciness of Eagle, but I'm getting almost the same location for half the price. So there you have it, Niche.com's top 5, well, more like 4. Suburbs in our area. Listen, if you have questions still about the Boise Treasure Valley, so if you have questions about, let's go all the way out to Mountain Home, Boise, Kuna, Nampa, Eagle, Star, Middleton, Meridian, any one of these cities. Or if you've done your research, you've been following my channel, you subscribed over a year ago and you love my channel and you're one of the people that pops up there and gives me a like for all of the hard work I do for you, then just call me. Call me, email me, text me. Days, nights, weekends, myself, my team, we've got your back when it comes to moving to Boise and the Treasure Valley. We'll see you next time.